Hey, my name is Joe,
And I'm Mary Beth.
and this is the best of Gen X.
We are in our 40s.
And we're siblings,
We'll talk about adulting in a world so different from the one we grew up in,
so excuse us while we save a generation.
one episode at a time.
Let's go.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Mary Beth.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know why?
Tell me.
He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you and to yours.
Did you make yourself an Easter basket?
I did not. I made ramen noodles. That's what I had for Easter.
Wait, for breakfast?
No, I had it around 11.
Oh. Oh, that's right. It is. It is
We're
later
in the afternoon.
It
Thanks.
is later in the day.
Oh, yeah. Did you just wake up?
It's also my daughter's birthday.
I and Uncle Joe sent her a text at 8 o'clock this morning. I was very proud of myself.
For remembering.
Mm-hmm.
She's 19, so one more year, and she's in her 20s.
Proud of the kids. Proud of the kids.
Yeah. She has wanted to be on her own since she was about 14. Yet, I don't see her moving out anytime soon, and that's fine with me because I find myself the older she gets, the more reluctant I am to let her go.
Is that, you don't think she'll be out soon because of her choice or because...
Well, she's definitely...
Or you don't think she really wants to yet? Or,
well, my point is...
Or anymore, I mean.
She has wanted to live on her own since she was 14. But she is also quite a mama's girl. So I don't know. I'm sure that she will probably try to move out at the earliest opportunity. I've tried to encourage her to stay home rent-free, save your money. But anyway, she'll do what she wants to do, and I feel like I have one more year to...
Yeah, they're at that age.
I told her that I was going to just unleash every bit of mama energy that I can in the next year.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know if I've shared this story, but when I was her age, and Bryson's age, the exact age at 19, and Seth, I was in a college fraternity, as you know, and one of my fraternity brothers started toying with the idea of us renting a house near campus. And I knew I wasn't ready to. But I felt like I had to act like I was because I'm like, I'm 19, I'm in college. This is what you're supposed to do. So we started driving around and looking at dumps. I mean, they were dumps. But the idea of it was really cool. But deep down, I knew I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And so I acted like I was into it. We looked at a couple places. I started doing numbers in my head. And I'm like, I don't make enough money to do that. I couldn't support myself. And I just got reasonable with it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I just think they're at that age where they feel like they have to start thinking about those
Spreading
things.
their wings.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't make sense, they feel like it's supposed to. And they're,
I did that for a minute.
Pretty
I did
standard.
that for a minute when I was 19. Moved out, and it was several months, but it was not a good situation. I should have known going in that it was not a great situation, but Mom and Dad were so glad that I decided to move back home. Mm-hmm. I remember Mom telling me, was it Dad? I can't remember which one of them said it, but I had acquired a kitten while I was living with these roommates. And so I was coming home with this kitten, and Mom or Dad said to the other.
You tell me what was said, and I'll figure out based on that who I think it was, who I think would say that.
Don't say a word about that kitten. I want her to come home. It was something like that. I think it was Dad. I think Dad told Mom, don't say a word to her about that cat.
Wow, that's a tough one. I feel like that could be either one.
Yeah. So anyway. So yeah. Yeah, it's her birthday. And what did I do? I did what we all do. I posted on Facebook.
Oh, you have to.
You have to.
It's a must.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Why do I feel like I have to? I mean, I wanted to put it out there. I wanted her to feel special. And, because the older they get, there are no parties, and sometimes there's a cake, sometimes there isn't. She's got plans with her friends, her dad's side of the family, and of course it's Easter, and so Yada, yada, yada. Well, she was on a weekend trip with your daughter. So they celebrated over the weekend. So anyway.
Oh, I didn't know she was with her.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I knew my daughter was gone. I didn't know Mallory was with her.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So they had a good time.
Now, will she see that post? Is she on Facebook, Mallory?
Yeah,
Okay.
she is now.
Because I wasn't sure her age. If
She wasn't for a
What-
while,
what
and the
the
younger
user-
kids aren't.
Okay.
Yeah. Facebook, it's basically with social media, we know what happens. As soon as the old people start playing with it, then the young people exit. So it went from Facebook to Twitter to Snapchat to whatever the hell. I don't know. Can't keep up.
okay,
But we love it. We hate it. We even love to hate it. What would become the first of many social media platforms, Facebook literally changed the world. Being at least 13 years old with a valid email allows you to connect with anyone, anywhere across the globe. It's paved the way to the new town square, where people go to participate in the marketplace of ideas. But it also provides us a historical record of the cultural cringe that comes with giving every single user unearned social cred, as if every thought that enters their mind is now suddenly worthy enough to be shared on a public stage. It's a pit of despair, mental illness on parade, a jungle of stupid, a digital playground where the emotionally underdeveloped go to play. And today, we're going scorched earth on everything about Facebook that makes us LOL.
well said, Mary Beth.
Thank you.
Facebook.
The book.
All right, well, let's talk about Facebook. So, Mary Beth, you've probably heard this guy's name a million times. Facebook was founded by Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes, indeed.
But wait, who is Mark Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg grew up learning how to code Atari basic computer programming from his father. By age 11, his parents hired a software developer to tutor him. You heard that right,
Wow.
right?
Yes.
Quite a different childhood than
Very different.
than you or I. Okay, or is it me? You or me? You or I?
It's you end with
Teach me. Teach me, teacher.
You end with me
Okay.
if it's at the end of
Okay,
the sentence.
you and me. So I thought that was crazy. He was a prodigy. He even developed an early instant messaging application for his dad's dentistry that was based out of their home, so receptionists wouldn't have to yell throughout the house. It was called Zucknet.
Zucknet.
So when he was younger, I'm talking like before college, it probably was right before college, but he eventually turned down jobs at AOL and Microsoft and opted, I'm going to go attend Harvard, okay, as an 18-year-old. I mean, I can't even wrap my mind around that. So in 2003, he first developed what was called Face Smash,
Yes.
which was a website that let Harvard students judge the attractiveness of each other to create rankings. Of course, he used student photos without permission, which is a no-no, as we know. And the site was shut down. Fast forward to the next year, and along with a few Harvard roommates, Zuckerberg launched the Facebook.
Right.
Okay, it was originally called The Facebook or The Facebook on February 4th, 2004. It was intended to only be available for Harvard students at the time and was just a college directory of sorts. It completely just took off. It ended up being available to other Ivy League schools, then to high schools, then to other countries, and it just became the largest social networking site. The site eventually dropped the from its name and just became known as what we know it today, Facebook. It went public in terms of the initial public offering, where there were shareholders and shares that they could sell. It went public in May of 2012 and was basically off to the races en route to total social media dominance.
Domination. I remember. Well, I have a couple of disclaimers here. If you're easily offended, this episode is not for you.
This one's not going to be for you. It's not going to be for you.
We've held our tongues.
That's right. Gloves are off.
We've even been part of text threads for the last several years, making fun of people on Facebook.
And it might have been you.
You may have been one of them. But the second thing I'll say is that maybe some of the things we poke fun of today, we're probably guilty of ourselves at one point or another. Probably not, but maybe.
Well, honestly, and I might as well just get this out of the way now. Some of the stuff we kind of poke fun at later, I was guilty of doing myself once or twice. You know, it's not like I never did one of those things that I'll talk about. But so, yeah.
I just wanted to say that to be fair.
Yeah, for sure.
But I admit to nothing.
Whatever.
Okay, so yes, I knew a lot of what you just described as far as the origin story of Facebook. Much of that is because I love the movie The Social Network. It is, I would say, in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. I've seen it countless times by now. Have you seen it?
I haven't. Unbelievably, I have not.
Bro.
And it's Jesse
Eisenberg.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Jesse Eisenberg. Pretty good. I like him.
Oh my God. I can't. Dude,
Listen.
how have you not seen it? Okay, we're going to have to watch it together because I want to watch your reaction.
Okay.
All right. So the movie came out in 2010. It was based on a book called The Accidental Millionaires or something.
That's why I haven't seen it, because I was busy then.
Okay.
2010. I was busy then. I had stuff going on.
It came out in fall of 2010. I remember going to the movie theater to see it with a friend. It was directed by David Fincher, written by Aaron Sorkin. If you know anything about Aaron Sorkin.
Heard of him.
Oh my gosh. His dialogue. He's notorious for incredibly complicated, quick, rich dialogue. And he writes it with such purpose that sometimes actors find it difficult to work with him because he doesn't give you, I've read, Matthew Perry even commented on this in his autobiography because he did an Aaron Sorkin show after Friends. And it had to be, he wanted you, the actor, to deliver the line precisely as he wrote it. But it's incredible. The dialogue is like a roller coaster that you actually don't want to get off of through the whole movie. It's brilliant. Okay, so that's one thing.
I'm a believer.
Okay.
I believe you.
As if Aaron Sorkin writing it wasn't enough.
I mean, geez, did you work for Aaron Sorkin at one point? Or?
No, man. Look, the cast. I mean, we have, like you said, Jesse Eisenberg, Andrew Gardner. Oh my gosh. The dude who played Spider-Man, although that never made sense to me.
No, I do remember that name, yeah. I gotcha.
He plays his friend Eduardo, who started it with him.
Yep.
And
I read the roommates' names, yep.
Now, I have to say, in fairness, so we don't get sued, The Social Network was biographical, but it was based on this book that was not partially written, but Eduardo in real life was consulting on this book that was written. So, I mean, it's somebody's version of the story. Okay, so we have Andrew Gardner playing him, and he gives a heartbreaking performance. Heartbreaking. Just beautiful and sad, and his heart is just open, and Jesse Eisenberg just rips it out.
Holy
I mean,
Moses. I was going to say, I would have never guessed that movie would be sad.
Well,
so
no,
I guess I do
mean,
need to see it.
His character arc is sad because there is this. He's such a caring character that as he's portrayed, I don't know the real life guy. I'm just saying Andrew Gardner's portrayal of him.
So it's just the way their friendship
is incredibly caring and supportive. Mm-hmm. Without his money, it never would have happened, or he would have had a harder time funding it and all this kind of stuff. The betrayal, it's just.
So there's some of that. Okay.
Oh my gosh, and he is chef's kiss. And then you have Armie Hammer, which I'm going to skip right over him because there's been a lot of talk about him recently being into weird things. Some Me Too. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't even recognize the name.
You would
what would I recognize him from? Or what was the name?
Armie Hammer.
Is that a male?
Yes.
Okay.
And he plays both twins, the Winklevoss twins, or as as Jesse Eisenberg quotes in the movie, the Winklevi are. It's so funny.
Nice.
So he actually plays both characters because they are twins who claim that Mark Zuckerberg stole their idea. So they invited him on because they recognized his genius. The twins and this other guy, Max Minghella, who plays their friend, they have this idea. It's much like Facebook. They recruit Mark Zuckerberg to write the code. And it's a little shaky. It's a little tricky to figure out. And I think the movie does that on purpose because, Again, it's just one person's version,
Right.
but they make it kind of vague as to whether he stole the idea or, he basically says at one point in the movie, you came to me with an idea, I had a better one.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of legal, and the
Yeah.
whole movie is framed like it's all like flashbacks because it starts in the legal proceeding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to see it then.
Oh, it's damn good.
Yeah, but you're right. I had read some, without seeing the movie, I had read something about some rumblings of him taking somebody's idea potentially.
Yeah.
And it was something to the effect of like Crimson Connection site or some kind of like similar
Yeah.
platform type of.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and you have to promise to watch it with me very soon.
Okay.
Max Minghella, who plays the friend, he also plays Nick in the Praise Be, what's that show?
The Maid's Tale or
Handmaid's Tale, which I love, but I can't believe I forgot the title of it. But he plays Nick. Swoon, love him.
Okay.
He's very good.
Okay.
The last thing I want to say about this movie. Oh no, I take that back. One more thing about Aaron Sorkin. He's actually in the film. He's in a quick scene.
Okay.
But I'll save that. I don't want to give you any spoilers.
You're such an Aaron Sorkin fan.
You will be too after you. And Justin Timberlake is in it too.
Oh, well, then I have to watch it.
He plays Sean Parker, who started. I should have done my homework on this. My memory is failing me right now. Brain fog. Sean Parker, Napster.
Oh, okay.
Right? So all the musicians are
Yep, yep,
pissed about
yep.
this. So he was kind of a prodigy in his own way.
Gosh, I remember Napster.
Yeah, okay.
Holy
So
moly.
Sean Parker made a big name for himself, got into a lot of hot water, made a lot of money, lost a lot of money. I don't know. His story is separate. But once Sean Parker heard about this thing catching fire, he noseyed on in and kind of took the reins away from Eduardo, Andrew Gardner's character. So that's kind of the premise.
Okay.
And he actually, the movie apparently wants us to believe that Sean Parker was the one who told him to drop the. It's the end of this. Stop me. Somebody stop me.
Stop, Mary Beth.
Stop.
And quit it even. You're giving away the movie.
I know, because it's such a great scene. It's such a great moment. Okay, so I'll shut up, except I'm going to brag a little bit. Speaking of Facebook and the social network.
Shocker.
So I had to do a search on my own profile
No, you didn't.
because I knew I had receipts.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to read a post that I posted on Facebook from October 22nd, 2010. That was the day I saw the movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And here is it word for word. I'm going to go ahead and call it The Social Network, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Eisenberg, Best Supporting Actor Garfield, Best Adapted Screenplay, and while we're at it, a nod to Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for Best Score. One hell of a film, absolute genius. I'm proud to say that come Hollywood Awards season in February of 2011.
Did it get all that?
It got, now for Golden Globe, they kind of separate comedy and drama. So Golden Globe, it did win Best Picture and Best Director for drama. I can't remember if Eisenberg, he was nominated. I know Eisenberg was nominated, but it got, for Golden Globe and Oscar, it got Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Score. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, that's Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Oh my
I know.
God.
Oh, yeah.
He does the music. Unbelievable.
Do I know Trent Reznor?
Well,
I am a Gen Xer.
Okay. His musical score is second to none. And he did go on to win the Oscar for Best Original Score. So I was right on many accounts in that post. Thank you very much.
Okay. Are you happy now that you bragged?
Yeah, I feel better.
Okay. I'm glad you feel better. Well, Mary Beth, I appreciate all that information. You've sold me. I will watch it. Apparently, I have to watch it with you.
Yes.
I mean, I was going to try to enjoy myself, but apparently I have to watch it with you.
No, you have to be watched while you're watching. So that might make you a little uncomfortable. But I'm just going to be sit there looking at your face the whole time.
Okay, bitch. What kind of popcorn do you like? Do you like it buttery, super buttery, plain?
No, but I definitely want to see your reaction to it because it's an experience.
Well, but now you've got me like anticipating like the music.
It's incredible.
I mean, it's
incredible.
okay. Love it. Well, Mary Beth, let me ask you this. What
Yes.
was your first ever experience or just general encounter with Facebook? Like, what was your first memory of?
My very first memory is receiving some kind of email invitation from my friend Carla, who I had worked with as an RA at IU together. We remained friends, but we lived apart. And so it wasn't from her, but it was like someone invited you to be their friend or add me as a friend. It sat in my inbox for a long time because I'm like, what's Facebook? I don't know what that is, and I know how to get in touch with people I know and care about.
Right, because you've done it your whole life.
I've done it my whole life.
Didn't need the Facebook to do that.
Didn't need the book.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand what it was for. I thought, if you have someone's phone number or email, what other way why do you need another source of connection? So it didn't make sense to me. But that is my earliest memory. And I can't remember how long I resisted it, but I know that I did for a while until when, I don't know. It must have been 2007,
Okay.
2008.
Okay.
So that's all I can remember about the early. Although for before I even made a post, I do remember typing. I wanted to search and see if somebody was on there, but I was actually typing in my post.
Oh.
Had I pressed enter, dear God, that would have looked so weird.
Yeah.
Like just a random name of somebody that I know.
Hey, you would have looked weird. Imagine that. Hey, you would have looked weird. It's crazy.
Go to hell. Oh, wait, it's Easter.
He is risen.
He is risen.
Okay. Are you ready for mine?
I'm ready to hear it.
So I'll try to keep it brief, but I have two sort of. I had my first recollection of Facebook, and then I have my first like personal encounter with it. Okay. So the first recollection is, and it's pretty true to when it all started. It was right around 2005-ish, 2006 maybe, I guess. So I was at my first home that I built, and I was still pretty young at the time. I was probably about 3 or 4 years out of college, but I was still young enough to hang out with some of the fraternity people. Some of the actives I just knew, and I was involved in alumni events and such, and alumni associations. And so some of the younger guys, young to me, they were like 21, 22. I would have them over at the house and just try to get updates on how things were going. And this one guy was like, "Yeah, we're having a party at such and such." It's one of those, like, not VFW, one of those kind of parties. And he said, "I think I'm going to invite everybody on the Facebook." And I remember I was in my backyard. I'll never forget. I looked at him and I go, "What in the hell is the Facebook?" He goes, "Oh man, it's really cool. It's this thing that you can like send out a bunch of invites, and you can like schedule events and activities, and you can invite people through." And I was like, "Is it like just like an Evite kind of deal?"
Yeah.
I had no idea. That was the first time I had ever heard those words. But that's what he said. He said it's kind of getting popular. People are starting to use it more just to invite to different social functions and such. The sororities were using it. I was like, I remember going, interesting. But that was it. That was the extent. I had seen it. I had never heard of it. Didn't know how it worked. Didn't know how it looked. And then fast forward like 2 or 3 years later, I was literally in my office one day at work, and one of my friends, he called me. He calls me JoJo. He's like, "JoJo." He's a little bit older. I used to live with him. He said, "Have you been on the Facebook yet?" And I said, "No." I was like, "No, but I'd heard of it." He goes, "Dude, listen." He goes, "I'll buy you." He goes, "Start an account." He goes, "I'll buy you a steak dinner."
I know who this is, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds very much like this person.
Yeah. He goes, "I'll buy you a steak dinner if you don't have 100+ friends within a day or two."
Okay.
I was like, "Really?" I go, "How's that?" Well, I didn't know how that. I was like, "How?" He goes, "Just trust me. You start an account, get a profile, you'll have 100 friends by like tomorrow." And sure enough, I had like 150 whatever plus friends. I guess, as soon as you create that profile and people see it, just or add or whatever, friend. So that was like my first encounter. That was my first encounter with it. So that was like I said, 2008, 2009. And then from there, I was kind of hooked on it. I was like, wow. So I just started using it more. And so, yeah, that was my first, experience hearing somebody talk about it and then myself using it.
Yeah. Well, I remember once I was on it, once I had a profile, I remember thinking, okay, because I had for whatever reason accepted the fact that this was a social network to keep in touch with people, whether they lived close or not. I finally accepted that. Like, okay, phone's not enough, email's not enough.
Right.
I guess I'll do this.
Right.
But then it took me a long time to really understand the status part of it.
Right.
So it's not just about connecting people. It's about posting status and telling, like, just randomly what's going on in your day. Nothing like this had ever, unless you were on TV, unless you were a public figure, we never had any kind of platform to do this. You didn't just like run out into the middle of your neighborhood and go, I'm having steak for dinner.
Billy won first place.
I'm feeling sad today.
Oh my gosh.
So that part was kind of weird for me to get used to. Like, who cares? Mm-hmm. Who cares what you think? Who cares what I think? And no, I love you, dude, but I really don't care that you had that for breakfast. Because people would take a picture of their food and mm-hmm. I don't know. I still, to this day, struggle with the whole exercise of vanity that the whole thing is. Because I feel like no matter what your intentions, that's still, like, fundamentally what it is to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's become super addicting.
It's designed to be addictive, that's for sure.
And I fell into that trap at the beginning, and I was like, whoa, what are these statuses? And, I get to, like, communicate with people. Now, I know these people for the most part, but the statuses fascinated me. So I was hooked from that.
I did get hooked from that. Yeah. There was a voyeuristic thing
I was like, ooh,
going on.
You have an opportunity to be smart or to be funny or to be witty.
Right.
Or to just go back and forth with people on things. I thought it was fascinating to me.
Yeah, like thoughts that you wouldn't have anyone to share it with unless they were right there with you or you sent them a text or...
Exactly. So
I can let everyone I know what I'm thinking right now.
Exactly. So if your house is asleep or you're just bored, it was your opportunity to, like, communicate to the outside world. And you didn't have to leave your house.
That's so crazy because while I struggled with the status for myself, I really got addicted to seeing other people's what they were up to. I don't know why. Yeah. Like, why would I care? Yeah. It's almost as if the algorithm exists to make you care. And you're not sure why, but you become addicted to finding out what's happening. And you feel like if you step away from it for too long, you're missing something, which is the total opposite of what social media has done to us. We're actually missing life. We're missing reality. And we're plugged into this because we're going to jump quite ahead here, but to say it's become something completely different. It's become a time waster. I don't know.
I called it a time suck.
It is a time suck. And it's not so much about being interested in what people are doing. I anger scroll. I hate scroll. Do you know?
I don't want to get... No, I'm just kind of like...
to sound mean.
No. I'm trying...
But I hate scroll.
I'm trying to think about how I want to say this because I don't want to give it away what I want to talk about at the end, but I started getting to that point. I started becoming less of a poster and more of like just a scroller and just kind of like I could feel myself making like bad faces at people's posts, like, that's cringy, or that's stupid, or why would you say that, or why would you do that?
This app is making me hate people for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. I started hating people. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm totally not a people hater.
Maybe we don't need to have insight into someone's every thought and every goings on and every drama and every trauma.
It has certainly evolved over the years. I remember when it first started, and it was just all pretty basic. I felt the layout was pretty basic. It was just who you followed, and those were the posts you saw. There was the Farmville kind of angle too, where people
that
were
was
sending
weird.
the farm, and that was like a play on another farm game or whatever. So anyway, there was that part.
The poking.
Remember the poking was annoying because I didn't know what to do after I got it. I'm like, what am I just supposed to do?
Well, and it was just sort of awkward.
It was weird. Yeah,
like,
it was
you
weird.
poked me.
Like, did you just poke me on the side? Like,
that's weird.
Virtually?
A virtual poke is still a poke.
Yeah, so right. So then it went from that to a lot of ads, a lot of communities, a lot of groups. It's starting to match Instagram a little bit with the reels. It's just kind of, that was before I stopped really using it.
And so you're not on it at all?
I'm not. That's what I didn't really want to give away. But about, I think, July or August of 2021 is when I just finally had enough of it.
Yeah.
It had overcome me. It had pissed me off. It had made me not respect certain people that I normally would have. It was toxic. So yeah, I got off of it.
It is quite a toxic place.
No, I won't lie. The first couple of weeks, I was getting a little jittery, and I was like, okay, I want to log in. No, I'm not. I was like fighting myself. I was like, do I not? So it was almost.
I need to see what these idiots are up to.
Yeah, I was going through like whatever they like smokers when they quit smoking. It's
Yeah.
like shit.
Yeah.
So like the first week or two was kind of tough, just because I was just so used to the scrolling and the, having an opinion on other people's stuff. But I will say after a couple of weeks, it was very freeing. Like I feel great about not having it now.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, my life has become so much freer because
I can
of it.
understand that because I get on there at least once or twice a day to clear notifications. I'm a clear inbox kind of
you're
gal.
a zero inbox gal.
So I like to go in and clear notifications. And I've noticed the less time you spend on Facebook, the more notifications you'll get for the most random stuff.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Like if I go a week without checking it, I'll have 24 notifications. And I've had I'm not involved in any threads or,
Right.
So they try to reel you in that way.
Yeah.
But so I'll be on there to clear notifications. I try to limit scrolling to less than 5 minutes. I rarely comment on things. I don't post so much anymore unless it's to share pictures of my dogs or my daughter.
Well, that's good.
Because Facebook, I've allowed Facebook to just become my photo album. Like that's really, I used to keep photo albums when Mallory was a baby, and I have many of them. And I would get the kind where you could write a caption off to the side, and then when I got on Facebook, I would just upload all my photos to Facebook, and so I stopped going to the photo place and developing pictures and getting.
Yeah.
I stopped doing all that. So I think that's the reason. I know that it would be quite a hassle to back up all of those things, years and years and years worth of images. And
Yeah.
so I struggle with that because it really has become my photo book. If I could just snap my finger and make every photo I've put on there into some hard copy catalog and just keep it, it would be easier for me to walk away. However, I will say that I like to stay somewhat on the pulse. I don't watch news at all.
I don't really either anymore.
I get my news from independent journalists online. Mm-hmm. And so I see Facebook and Twitter and the like. I see that as keeping my finger on the pulse somewhat. I still want to be able to read the room. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because I work from home and I don't get out much and I don't interact with people much. And so I feel like it's helpful to kind of sit off to the side and just kind of read the room.
Okay.
To try to be an informed citizen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes when you work from home, you can feel like you're in an island.
Oh, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to seem too hypocritical because I was very active on it.
Oh yeah, you were.
And
I
people
know.
that know me know that I was, and especially during election seasons.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I kind of just got silly with it
You
on
did.
purpose.
You did.
I mean, on purpose. Let's be real.
But you didn't make fun of people.
Right, and I was just trying to be stupid and funny about it.
Yeah.
And I did the "It's Bush's fault," and people grabbed onto that, and they still to this day are like, "Ledbetter, when are you going to get on Facebook and put "It's Bush's fault"? I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to do that again, but anyway. So I don't want to seem hypocritical or too judgy, but being off of it, I'll see people or I'll be out in public and I'll see them scrolling and I can see that it's Facebook and I almost just kind of feel bad. But I don't want to judge people because it might be a great experience for others. And they might really enjoy it. And I sound hateful or stupid or ignorant because I'm like, why are you doing that? That's stupid. I get that.
Yeah.
But I'm just from my own experience, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I'm not doing that right now. I'm so glad I'm not doing that right now. I'm glad I'm just kind of experiencing the world around me.
Around you.
Yeah. So.
Real life, in other words.
Exactly. So I'm not judging people. I don't want people to think I'm judging their use of it. But for me, I kind of get that feeling when I see people on it.
I feel the same way because my husband is on it a lot, and he gets himself into these
webs.
Yes, and I'm just like, dude, stop with it. Just stop. And because it it pisses him off.
Quit it, you.
Quit it, you. I worry about, its effect on him, and I try to encourage him to just walk away from it. But
I want to make sure you finish your thought.
and I was also going to say, you and I have a mutual friend, someone I used to teach with. He has not been on Facebook for years. I asked him one time, I remember sitting in the lounge with him, asking him why, and he said something to the effect of, it just made me angry at people that I had no business being angry about, kind of the same idea. Mm-hmm. And so he's been off for years. He's still off of it. I used to find it really useful because I taught video production, and I faced a lot of challenges in the school. It was kind of like, here, build an entire media department from scratch. It's like telling an art teacher, build an art department from scratch. Oh, and here's 3 crayons. I mean, that's kind of how I was handled and the media was handled. I mean, I used my own equipment. I, used my own camera, my own laptop. It was just an uphill battle for years. And once YouTube was available, it made it easy. I was able to just bypass everything and just share links and then sharing on YouTube. And that led to a really amazing collection of experiences that I can talk about at a later time. But I really did depend on Facebook during those years because I was sharing my videos and they were gaining traction, and that was a very good thing for the class.
Let me comment on that, and then I want to comment on the Josh thing real quick. And I'm not just saying this because you're my sister, and I'm not just saying this because you're right in front of me. I thought you were really good on Facebook.
Oh.
And I say that because a lot of times I would be silly and goofy. I would talk politics, but I was doing it in a way where I was just trying to be funny. I was trying to play the fence a little bit. I mean, people knew where I kind of leaned, but I was trying to not piss everybody off. I was just trying to be humorous.
Yeah, people have lost their sense of humor when it comes to politics.
Exactly. But I always felt like your stuff was humorous in a way, but I felt like your stuff was appropriate, and I felt like when I would read some of your stuff, because you word things so well.
Thank you.
That I kind of it sounds cheesy, but I felt like I learned stuff sometimes. When you post. And I felt like other people, and I would remember catching myself thinking, gosh, that's really good. Why can't those people read that and understand that the way I do, or the way people should? You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I'm being truthful, and Dad and I would always talk about that. He would be like, he'd read your post, and we'd be on the golf course, where he's like, man, Mary Beth is so good with words, and she frames things up in such a way, you know what I mean? So
that is
so I think there's a good
crazy
way to use it, a good and a right way to use it, and I think you were always good about that. I felt like.
I appreciate that, and I kind of remember when that happened, because I wouldn't go there. Things had become so divided and so controversial, and I was still trying to understand it. But I was going to say, I have never had as much fun on Facebook, before or since, as I did during Donald Trump's impeachment.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Which one, you ask? The first one, LOL.
Right.
And I don't know, something in me just snapped because of what was happening. And I have become pretty good at simplifying very complicated ideas. So if I could just throw out a 2-sentence post, or if I could, and of course, for a living, I taught rhetoric. So I knew the tools, I knew the rhetorical devices that would give something the best punch. And I was always careful to make it us versus them, not me versus you.
Yeah, for sure.
And during that time, I was on fire. I felt like I had unleashed a superpower because I had held it all in. I once told Josh, if I die, publish my Google Drive. Because I don't want to make enemies. I miss the days when we didn't know each other's politics. And what I found, what ultimately led me to stop posting so much, like you said, was it became such a toxic environment where people seemed determined to accept and receive your messages in the worst possible faith. And I'm not going to waste my time or energy on people like that. I had taken many blows over the years and just brushed it off, but was definitely low-key being accused of murder, being accused of being a Nazi, a cult member, and the like. Yet I would never dream in a million years to insult my Facebook friends, no matter how close or acquaintance, didn't matter. But I saw a lot of rage, a lot of emotional unfinished business from an election nobody saw coming. And that was very sad to me because I finally gave up at a certain point when it seemed nobody wanted to listen. And for me, social media, Facebook in particular, I'm not going to use it for obligatory things. I'm not going to chime in and say Happy Easter or post Happy 4th of July. The only reason I ever posted those annual first day of school pics was because I knew the grandparents were expecting to see it.
Right. And they would let you know.
Right, exactly. And you have exes involved, not mine, because mine's wonderful. Love you. But yeah, there were some texting. Like if you didn't see it happen, it was like, damn. So I would do those things out of obligation. But as far as like slacktivism bullshit, no, I'm not posting your flag. I'm not using your banner on my profile. I'm not hashtagging your shit. I'm not going to support. I'm not going to say the words. I don't bark on command.
Solidarity, brother.
No, I don't bark on command. I'm an actual ally, not a performative one. And that's what Facebook turned into for me, where I was finally just like, and then I'll close up that part with, yes, the whole impeachment thing. I had a lot of people from both sides, whether they were texting me, commenting on the thread itself, or sending me messages. People like liberals I've known and loved for years who were just like, this is hilarious, blah, blah, blah. And it felt like a bright spot in a very dark time for our country. And I enjoyed that experience. But then 2020 is when I'm like, nobody wants to hear it. I'm not going to chime in on something unless I have value to add. I don't want to post something if it's already been said 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any of that shit. And that's what Facebook became. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
If you didn't post a flag or the hashtag, it became like, well, why aren't you doing that?
No.
That means you're against.
Fuck you.
Fuck that. I stay against that.
No, you've known me for 30 years. If you have to question where I
exactly.
stand on things, then we're not friends.
Yeah,
Come on.
So I wanted you to just keep going because it was great stuff. But I'm with you there. Like, if this makes sense, a lot of why I posted the way I did, it was to be funny, yes, but a lot of it was to be intentional to say, I can think this one way about this, and I know that this person doesn't, and I've known this person my whole life, and we are very cordial to each other. We love each other as friends, or whatever the case was. Guys I grew up with and played ball with. You know me as a person. You know what's in here. I can say things or think things that way, but I wanted you to see that I can do that, and you don't agree with me, but you know I still love you and would do anything for you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
And so I wanted them to see that human side of me too, because I just feel like it just got to the point where it was, and I don't want to turn this into a political thing, but it just got to the point where it was like, oh, you think that way, so I can't speak to you or like you. You think that way, I can't be around you. You know what I mean?
Or it was licensed to be nasty.
Yeah, I don't.
When did that happen?
I don't subscribe to that.
When did that happen?
You cannot have common sense politically, and I'm still going to love you as a friend.
Like, attack my candidate all you want.
Exactly.
Like, I'll attack yours.
So
but when it got personal and nasty,
it got personal. I
was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it got personal. There was one person in particular that something was taken out of context, and all I simply did was reply. This was right before I got off of it. This was kind of like one of my last straws. All I did was say, Trump didn't say that. Here's the full quote. He didn't say it that way. And everybody was agreeing with this person, but me. But I wasn't really disagreeing. I was just saying this was the full context.
Right.
Literally all I said was this is the full context.
You feel like you're helping, like you want to.
Right. So because I did that, so again, this was one of my last straws. I got called a racist.
Sure.
And that person in particular, who I'd only really talked to out in public twice.
Yeah.
I think his son played basketball at the school, but I really didn't know him well.
Yeah.
I got called a racist, and he told me that he could no longer have a personal relationship with me. And I was like, fine, dude.
Right.
You think it's going to make me lose any sleep?
I'll try to pick up the pieces of my life and move on.
Oh, my gosh. Hang on, let me wipe the tears. Hang on.
Hang on.
Yeah, my floor just got wet. So just silly stuff like that. And I was just like, this isn't worth it at all. But I do want to comment on the Josh thing. It's like Josh is, if you know Josh, he's such a great, lovable person.
He is, yeah.
And then when he gets on Facebook and it upsets him, that's the thing. That's the thing I don't like for people that get so involved in it is, look what it does. Like, you're at home, you're trying to just relax with your spouse or your kids or whatever. You start getting in the middle of that just on your couch.
Yeah.
Then you start getting pissed off, and it just affects your whole mental
Sure.
sort of state. And then it affects your relationships at home.
It brings in some bad juju.
Right, exactly. The energy gets bad, and it's like he probably just wanted to sit there and just chill with you or whoever.
Yeah.
And instead, he's got that,
It's just
lingering.
it's hard for him to pull himself away from the back and forth.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm
you
just like, end it.
Yeah,
just
so you just
stop.
see what it does.
Stop.
It's just,
Well, I want to go back to what you said, because I do appreciate you saying that you learned some things from my post, especially around that time or whenever. But that was my ultimate goal, was if I can make it pleasing to the palate and not like I'm attacking anybody, because we know good and well who deserves to be attacked, and it's not the voter. Mm-hmm. Let's get real. Mm-hmm. And so my aim was to bring people in with humor, but then make them stop, and even if just for a second, think like, "Ooh, okay." And so it's cool that you say that you did that. Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. Well,
so we've kind of touched on it a little bit. How do you think Facebook has impacted our society? Now, it can be good or bad, or it can be good and bad.
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, we've talked a couple things, but
You go first.
well, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good at all, for some of the reasons we've described. I mean, it's affected relationships. It's brought conflict into the homes, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
It's, there's the whole private message aspect where guys are messaging people they shouldn't be messaging.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then not just that, it's like, if I have a friend that posts something a certain way, I'm not talking about me specifically, I'm just saying people in general, if you have a friend that posts a certain way, you might take it wrong. And you know what I mean? And so that's what I mean, where it could affect relationships. Like, if you're not just having a conversation with somebody, you don't get the tone or you don't get the meaning.
Exactly.
And so you might read something and go, wait a minute, is there some type of like subliminal or subtweet kind of approach to it? Are they talking about me? It just becomes, and then it's like, if you hit add friend and somebody doesn't respond right away, then people start feeling like, well, why don't you want to add me as a friend back?
Right.
When it could just be something simple as the person just hasn't been on the app, or you know what I mean? So it's just,
I had someone call me out before.
That's what I mean. I just feel like
And I wanted to say, take the hint.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's exacerbating an already like addictive sort of mindset in our culture. I mean, we're addicted to everything. Instant gratification. We got to have stuff now. I feel like this just plays into that more. I feel like it exposes people for the worse.
It does. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, one of the worst things about it is that it reveals the best and worst of humanity.
Absolutely.
And,
Now there are, even though I'm not on it, there were a couple good things I felt like. I mean, I felt like people in some cases were able to use it to their advantage from like an entrepreneurial perspective.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, everybody wanted to be an online coach. And, when Facebook kind of was going. And
everybody's selling facial products.
Yeah, but, there's Nerium or all these
I sold it for a bit.
Multi-level marketing things that I even tried. Mm-hmm. Tried it on Facebook back in the early 2000s or mid whatever. So, yeah, I think there's some opportunity there.
Yeah.
For sure. And exposure is not always negative. Like
right.
If somebody wants to get exposed in like a good way, you can use it for stuff like that.
I've considered making us a Facebook page.
Right. So,
I don't know.
So yeah, I definitely think there's some good and bad.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've noticed is that we seem addicted to catastrophizing.
Love that.
It's not, oh, here's the news today. It's, oh my God, cracking the planet, world on fire, we're all going to die.
Yeah, exactly.
We talk about things in very binary terms. It's black, white, no gray area, no nuance, and that's not the human experience, and that's what pisses me off about Facebook. And it, for better or worse, it's what makes me sort of, in my mind, accuse the collective of being dumb. Just like Facebook is a pit of stupid.
Yeah, you kind of broad-based.
And you don't want to fall into it, because these are people who are like purposely uninformed, or only children are allowed to get away with black and white thinking. and narcissist. I mean, it's basically what it is. So
Yeah.
it's just, there's no nuance. It's not a place to have deep discussions.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's not a place to learn much, unfortunately.
Yeah,
which is sad because it should be. Could
exactly. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty disingenuous.
Be. Yeah, a lot of persona building. Mm-hmm. A lot of keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's
Hey,
perfect.
look.
I thought about that too. It's exactly how I was thinking about it. Keeping up. If you don't, you feel like you're behind.
Can I just praise Jesus on this day?
He's risen.
He's risen. I want to praise Jesus. Thank God I didn't have Facebook going through my divorce.
Oh yeah.
I was a mess, and I would have said things I could never take back.
Oh yeah, I get that.
And I'm very grateful, because if you're not careful, you could use it inappropriately. Just wanting to vent your frustrations of life out into the world, and that's not always the best approach, and it's not healthy, and it doesn't help you or anyone else. And
Right.
so I'm grateful for that. But what I notice now is like the keeping up with the Joneses stuff. I cannot imagine these poor girls. A lot of my former students are my friends on Facebook, and so I see them having children and their families are growing. You have to get pregnancy pics now. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh my God, you have to get pregnancy pics, professional ones, taken out in a field at sunset. With a fancy maternity dress on, and show your big belly. Look, I carried Mallory in my eyelashes. I mean, I stopped counting after like 45 pounds that I gained. I can't imagine feeling that kind of pressure to take pictures. Everybody feels pressure to get that beautiful little blanket or do the photo of the baby at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And it's, wow.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It provides so much unnecessary pressure.
Sure.
I hate that about it.
Like, who has a photographer walking around following them all the time, except for an Instagram influencer and her boyfriend?
And you know exactly what those people were going through the day of that session,
yeah.
but only because they had to get it on Facebook. Like, it's just unnecessary pressure.
I know,
that
like,
people
why?
put on themselves.
I'm glad I was finished with all of that before Facebook started.
And don't even get me started. You've heard me say it a million times about the damn youth travel sports
Good Lord.
posters. Now, I have friends that do this.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to hate. But
yeah, we are. We said scorched earth, damn it.
Okay, listen. I used to
Scorched earth.
be one of those people. You know it, I know it. My kids played the sports. I felt like I had to keep up and be involved in it. I had to be that poster that was showing the picture of the teams and the wins and all the
you did.
all the little 8-year-old trophies and stuff that don't mean anything to anybody.
that were bought and paid
Right.
for.
I was so deep. Yeah, I was so deeply entrenched in that sort of phenomenon on Facebook when my kids were younger and playing on quote unquote travel teams where they would go travel 10 minutes to play a team that, whatever. So, with the exception of maybe like a few special kids, special players, who end up having the potential to play after high school, the whole thing is just kind of silly. It's a waste of time and money. I probably spent, $12,000 for both of my kids during their last summer when they played, and they literally both quit about 3 weeks after, their seasons ended. But there's so much financial stress and pressure, but you felt like you had to put all that on Facebook to kind of appear like you were so happy and you were enjoying the moment.
I'm sure in the moment you felt that way.
A little bit, but
in the moment,
a little bit. But now I just feel like everybody feels like they have to be involved in that because of it, because they see it on Facebook. Well, I got to get my son, even though my son has no business playing in that.
I know, yeah.
I got to get in it because everybody else has pictures and their kids are playing it together. That's kind of more where I was going.
I'm forming an idea here, and I think what you're describing is a bit of social engineering. These are not organic movements.
Right.
These are not organic changes.
That's what I mean. It kind of feels scripted a little bit. So it's like, it wasn't so much about the sports itself being involved in that. I mean, a little bit of it is, but it was more of how does Facebook make you feel like you are forced to be involved in it.
And then everybody does it, and then you can't make the local team if you don't do it. It just becomes a dragon.
Exactly. So.
And that's not just with sports, but like so many things. Yeah, these are not organic trends.
Right.
And so that kind of goes along with what I said about catastrophizing, because we see 3 viral videos of something, it must be, some sort of epidemic.
Yep.
Another thing I was going to say, we've talked about, I don't like knowing people's politics, but I really don't like social media platforms coordinating with the government to act as like literal gatekeepers of truth. And that's what I think Facebook has become. And I think it's on public record now that Zuckerberg talked about doing this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like that. And the problem it's created that we can't undo is that we've not been able to keep up with the technology. So the private business can do whatever it wants no longer applies. You can't just deplatform people because yes, it's a private business, but it's also the town square.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so we have to figure that out, and we haven't. It's now a utility. And government seems in no hurry, I guess because they're in cahoots with all these oligarchs in social media.
You're so smart.
Well, I know that a well-informed populace is very dangerous to those in power because a well-informed populace is impossible to control. And Facebook and all the other social media platforms has made it possible for us to bypass the legacy media. And now the establishment is scrambling, and they've been scrambling for years to figure out how to control the flow of information. And that's the worst part about Facebook. And I don't blame it all on Facebook, but since we're talking about it. So if I had to say if it was good or bad, I'd say the good does not outweigh that bad, in my opinion. There's also a lot of mental illness going on. A lot of external validation has become a crutch for our emotional unfinished business. I like
Testify.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody experiences that dopamine hit when you get likes. If you throw something out that you think is funny or cool and you get a lot of likes, I mean it's just human nature to get that little high, and the whole system is designed to give us that high. But
because you post it, and the first thing you do, you go back to see who liked it and who replied. Like it's like you said, it's like a
that's real. That's a thing. But if you're not a secure person, like if you're self-aware, you could put yourself in check in those moments and kind of take a step back, self-reflect. Okay, this is that. But if you don't feel good about yourself just to begin with, the external validation is, man, that's what scares me. And I don't think that social media, Facebook, has done us any favors because I think that's where a lot of people go to seek it.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, we're going to take a quick break.
I wanted to say one more thing.
Well, you can, but I was just going to say that in the next segment, we're going to make fun of those people who post when they shouldn't.
Okay. Well, I was going to say one of my most annoying experiences on Facebook was the expert on everything poster.
Oh, good Lord.
Okay. You have the ones who are part lawyer, part politician, part judge, part social justice warrior, part scientist, part psychiatrist. I mean, what I cannot stand is
part
how people,
climatologist.
Yeah, I mean, they're the type of people that knew everything, and they had to fight and bicker about everything because they knew everything.
No, but
nobody can have their own opinion, or
they've done their research, and their research is better than your research.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I searched by this site on Google. Yeah, it's nobody can have their own opinion, or it becomes this heated debate, and people start unfollowing or friending each other. It's just a joke. So
weird. Oh, fun fact. True story. I'll end it with this before we break. But one of the things that stopped me in the 2020 chaos, I felt deeply in my heart that cancel culture was a big part of why we couldn't solve a lot of these problems. Because if you scare people half to death about speaking up, you need to hear the bad ideas so you can weed them out, right? You can't let bad ideas or dangerous ideas go hide. And so I felt very strongly that people needed to be more aware of cancel culture, and I wouldn't have posted so much about it. And I was getting on my own nerves, trust me, because I wouldn't shut up about it there for a few weeks. But it was just very real, and people needed to stop and say, okay, no more forced public apologies, no more scapegoating this one person and hoping everybody else will follow suit silently. You know, we start to censor ourselves. So anyway, so I go on cancel culture. I had a friend of over 30 years, someone I've loved and cared about, someone I stayed connected with, exchanged Christmas cards every year. When he's in town, we visit with each other. A very dear person in my life who was very anti-Trump, right? I didn't care, but he cared very much where I, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like that. Dude actually deleted me. He for a minute, he was going back and forth about cancel culture isn't real. And he got so pissed off that I wouldn't back down that he canceled our friendship to prove that cancel culture wasn't real. True story. 30-year friendship.
I had a guy that I was friends with for 25 years that unfriended me when he replied to my sports post because I badmouthed his favorite college's coach.
Okay, well, there's some deeper problems going on.
I'm just like, and I messaged the dude. I'm like, really?
Oh man, I can feel the momentum, Joe. I can feel
It's coming. It's
bubbling.
brewing. The pot is being stirred.
It is being stirred, and we're gonna take a break and come back and let it all out.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're back. Before we get back to our conversation, there are a couple things I want to point out. First of all, I saw a few weeks ago we have some downloads in Nigeria, bro.
What?
Nigeria. So we're in U.S., UK, Canada, Nigeria. Last check a couple weeks ago, it was like 65 different cities. That was pretty crazy.
Nice.
I know. I do want to give a shout out to Carmen. You know who you are. I'm not going to give your last name. I'll protect your identity. But you've been a supporter. I know you're a listener. You've said some really sweet things about our podcast on Facebook. I've seen your comments, and I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to let you know that we love that you love the podcast. Send
That's
me a message
awesome.
if you have any episode ideas, anything you want to hear us talk about. We're always open to feedback. So just want to give a little shout out to Carmen.
No, that's super cool. And I know that we got a couple reviews on the podcast app, on the Apple Podcast app. That was pretty cool.
I have not seen those.
Yeah, I think we got one or two.
Ooh, I'll have to look.
Yeah, exciting.
Oh, good. All right. Well,
Mary Beth, have we decided if we like Facebook?
I don't know.
I know we love to hate it.
We love to hate it.
What you think?
I don't know. I love it and hate it. I especially love to make fun of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have it anymore, so if that tells that answers any question.
Well, I'll go first. How about that?
Okay.
All right. So first, I'm going to share some typical posts. I'm going to help anybody out there who's interested in translating what Facebook posts really mean. So there's, first of all, the random selfie from the person who never ever selfies. That means they're newly single. And I know this from experience. I have a 100% track record of confirmation on this. I'm never wrong. I remember one time actually going from one room to another in my house and saying to Josh, I saw someone post a selfie. They never post selfies. And I went to Josh and I was like, did so-and-so break up? And he goes, yeah, I just heard. And I was like,
that's your trigger.
Yeah. So I have a pretty good track record
So you're
on
batting
that.
1,000 on that
I'm
one.
batting 1,000 on that.
Okay.
My husband is a cheater. How do you know this? Because they have a shared Facebook profile. So Jeff and Lisa Smith, we know what you've been up to.
Oh, listen, if you have to get to that point where you have to share an account, just bail on the app, bro. Hey, just bail on it. It's not worth having it.
I mean, if that's not the message you intend to send, it's important that you know what it sends. It says there's been some philandering going on.
Yeah, it's silly.
Okay, I love the over-the-top living my best life posts. Like, it's one thing to like be on vacation and show the cruise that you're on or the beach pic and the bungalow that you're staying in, but the over-the-top, just regular daily grind, living my best life. What that really means is I'm in agony over my recent breakup, and I want my ex to see it and see how amazing I'm doing and realize that he made a terrible mistake. That's what that means, okay? So girls, chill.
Yeah.
Chill. Calibrate.
Yeah.
Calibrate.
Chill TF out.
Do not post how amazing your life is too soon after breakup.
We know better.
We know what you're talking about. You're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah, and speaking of on the beach pics, can I comment?
Sure,
do you
please.
Okay, I just didn't want to ruin your flow.
No, my thread, you're blocked.
Okay, so the poster who feels obligated to show off their legs and feet on the beach just to let everyone know that they're vacationing. I think I've done that once before when the kids were really, really little. But seriously, let's maybe get a pedicure or something before we do this. I mean, ain't nobody want to see your jacked up chicken nugget toes.
Oh my God, that's cruel.
Yeah.
That's cruel.
And I think the one time I did it when the kids were like super little, like in like floaties little.
Sure.
I had the brown legs and I had the golfer's feet tan. So my legs were like my feet were like pasty white. I'm like, and then I thought that was a good idea at the time, like in 2010.
That's what I mean. You know, there's a line in The Social Network where she says, "The internet's written in ink." You know, it never goes away.
And I think the next year when I saw like a memory, I was like, why? Why did I do that?
Why'd I do that?
Why?
You know what? The Facebook memories, man, those
crazy.
can punch you in the face.
Oh, God.
Man.
Sucker punch you
In
is what
many
they do.
ways. In
Okay.
many ways.
Sorry, go ahead.
So there's the constant body positive posts from the fluffy among us. I self-identify as fluffy, and so I'm one of you. But I'm just saying, the more you talk about how much you love your body and all your curves,
More you probably don't.
okay, the more you probably don't. And what it means is that you secretly kind of hate your body. And we know this because you'll inevitably see these people posting about their weight loss journey in about a year.
Mary Beth's translation.
I have a pretty good record with this as well.
Okay, I believe you.
And not that I don't support their body positivity, because in a perfect world, I want every single human being to feel comfortable in their skin, being exactly who they are. And I'm not kidding. But you're being really transparent. Like, you're showing your insecurity too much when you're overdoing the body positive stuff. And then you do your weight loss journey a year later, which means what was all that, you know?
Hey, just stand on that business. Stand on that business.
Okay. The selfies with the kids, talking about how this is all you'll ever need to be happy. Like, look at me, I'm a mom, and I'm in the foreground, and my kids are in the background. But I'm in the foreground for a reason. I've decided to use Facebook as a dating app.
I wish you all could see Mary Beth's expression and like how she's holding the phone out, like
And tilting my
pretending.
head.
Yeah.
So I've got the selfie with the kids playing in the background. I'm so happy. What that means is you are desperately lonely and looking for some strange.
I've got my cool fall boots and my pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah. All neighborhood pages.
Trash.
Any neighborhood page you join, you have to be prepared. It is basically a collective Karen. So they exist for one reason only. It is not to welcome you to the neighborhood. It is not to post helpful information, but it is to publicly shame their neighbors.
Don't get me started.
From everything from speeding through the subdivision to not picking up after their dogs, people threatening to like post their ring videos. Next time I'm gonna put you on blast. It's like, you're putting me on blast now. I mean, not me, but
Right.
it's neighborhood pages. I've never felt more unwelcome than joining my neighborhood Facebook page.
Hello, you were involved in one on mine. Do you remember this?
I do. When I lived with you for several months, I asked the administrator to join because we were living there. We wanted to know what was going on in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I was rejected.
Right.
Very
Because
sassily.
we didn't have documentation that you owned a house in the subdivision.
Right.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
She wanted documentation that I owned
I was
property
like,
in
I'm
the
telling
subdivision.
you, she lives here.
I'm like, we are living here for the foreseeable future until our house is built. But the thing is, I get it. I get her rationale, but she was a bitch about it.
Well, my favorite was I get so many. What did she say?
Requests.
Yeah, I get so many requests every day. I'm like,
Sure
I
you
can't
do.
keep up. You get like one a week.
Sure.
One a week, please.
And then finally, the chronic self-congratulatory posts. These are probably the most nauseating to me.
Explain.
Self-congratulatory posts. These are people who are incredibly insecure. They're probably a covert narcissist. It's more than external validation. It's like, I want to believe this about myself. I've almost convinced myself that I am this person, that I am this awesome whatever, fill in the blank. And I throw them out there on the daily, sometimes several times a day, just to get the validation. You're amazing. You're blah, blah. And careful, the people who really know you personally know you aren't that. And every time I read one of those, I die of secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, okay.
Those really bother me.
No, I get it. Those are good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear yours.
Do you have more, or is that it?
I do have more. I felt kind of rushed this morning when I was jotting them down. We've made fun of Facebook posts for years.
Forever. Forever.
And I know that some of the ones that you're going to share, we have
appreciated together.
We have probably laughed together about before.
Okay, buckle up.
I am ready.
Okay, Mary Beth, when people who are dating reply back and forth on a post, constantly professing their undying love for each other, when you know damn well they're probably sitting right next to each other on the couch. Barf.
Barf.
Blech.
Blech.
Like, I love you. No, I love you more. I'll never love anybody as much as I love you.
Right.
Oh, God.
And,
Barf.
if you have to say it over and over like that publicly,
Yeah.
you probably don't mean it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's...
Who are you trying to convince here, buddy?
Yeah, but that, and I'm like, it's 8:30 p.m. I know you're sitting right next to each other.
You're right there watching a movie together.
Yeah,
What the
or
hell?
if you're not next to each other or in the same vicinity, you've texted and called each other all day. Like, what the hell? We get it. When people just tag an emotion and nothing else.
Good
So this
Lord.
is, I'm just trying to make a name up. Lisa Smith. I don't know if that's a real person. Lisa Smith is feeling down. And then
No,
nothing.
it's Jeff and Lisa Smith.
Yeah,
remember?
sorry. Jeff and Lisa Smith are feeling down. And then nothing else.
Nothing else.
They just tag that emotion. It's so annoying.
I follow someone who's like, I want to say he's suicidal. And sometimes I want to like call someone, but it's kind of a chronic condition that he has where
Okay.
I'm just like, does your mother follow you on this app? Because she should.
Or Jeff and Lisa Smith are feeling confused. And then that's it. They'll just leave it at that. It's just the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, why would you?
Good to know.
I've never understood having a feeling inside me, and then my gut reaction is, okay, well, I'm confused, so where's my phone? I got to put it on Facebook. It's the weirdest thing I have ever.
I have to let everyone know.
Yeah. Okay, you ready for this one? I know you like this one.
Okay.
The relationship kiss of death.
I know what it is. Do you know?
Okay.
Let's give pause.
Okay.
Let's give the people a moment
Think about it.
to guess. What is the relationship kiss of death? Time's up.
Mary Beth, the relationship kiss of death is when you first enter into a new relationship and you tag that person and say, in a relationship with so-and-so. It's over.
It's
Hey,
over.
that shit is over in 5 weeks.
Right.
It's over. Anybody that I've ever known that has done that has not survived their relationship. And it's usually been within 6 to 8 weeks. And there's always a pool that goes on between our group chats where we say, okay, and we just so you guys know, we screenshot your stuff.
We do.
We
and
screenshot
share
it. We say, okay, what's the over under?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. I give it 6. I get 5. And we're usually right. So guys, don't tag in a new relationship with that person. It's over. You've already.
Now, are you limiting this to people who've not been together that long, who jump in too quick on the status?
No, it's any of it. Why?
Well, because all of my married friends on Facebook are quote in a relationship,
No, I'm just saying the new ones that post that, like
new relationships. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
brand
Okay.
new.
Sorry. Yeah, it's the brand new ones. They jumped in too quick, and everybody knows it.
Gotcha.
But
I needed to clarify.
But I'm telling you, before I canceled Facebook or deactivated it, when I would see those posts, my immediate reaction, was first to screenshot and then to send it to somebody. But my second,
my first was to completely make fun of that person to my group of friends.
but my second reaction to myself was always like, it's over.
It's over.
It's over. That's the end of it. You screwed yourself. It's over. I need all of the prayers you can give, but I can't go into details post. Like, why in the absolute hell would you post that? And then just like demand people not ask you questions.
Joe, we know why. They need attention.
Apparently.
And look, hey, I've learned a lot in the last few years. As a Christian, I've come to believe that if you want prayer to really work, you got to be specific.
You got to let people know what they're praying for.
You got to name the enemy,
Right.
whether it's sickness or depression or despair or, whatever. You've got to name the enemy and cast it out and claim victory over it. Specifics matter. So if you're just like prayers,
100% agree.
okay, I'll send up a very vague prayer for you.
I think Dad's
hope it works out.
Like I think our dad's over it now, but like 7 years ago when he got ill,
I sent out the bat signal.
You were like, you had pictures, you were specific. You were like, this is what's going on.
I was like, look, folks, anybody who knows this man, this is what he's going through. We need a miracle. Pray right now. Get on your knees. He needs this and this and this,
Amen, sister.
And
that's how you ask for prayers on Facebook.
Right. It was like this long paragraph and it went viral.
Boom.
It went nuts. And to this day, Dad's doctor calls him a miracle.
That's how you do it, folks.
That's how you do it.
That's how you ask for prayers on Facebook.
Yep.
You don't say, pray for me, and then, but please don't ask any questions.
Don't ask. Or, no, the worst. I appreciate your prayers, but can't go into detail. And then somebody will go, what's wrong? PM me. I'll tell you, but nobody else. But please pray for me. Don't be asking me for anything.
That's so whack. Don't be whack.
Don't ask me for anything if you ain't giving it back.
just don't be whack.
Don't be whack.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
I always ask you if you're ready, like, as if you're not.
I know.
It's just my instinct. Are you ready? Okay. The time for change post every 2 months.
Okay.
Should I explain?
Yes.
Okay. It's the people that they put or they'll start a post and it's like 1 or 2 paragraphs long about, it's just been a really tough. Hold on. I have to get. I know. I have to get in the character. I have to get in the character.
Get in the character.
It's been a really tough couple years. This has happened, and I just really haven't loved myself. And I know my value, and I know my worth. And you know what? Damn it! I finally figured out that it's time for change, and I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change. And then it's like you're like, no, you're not.
Oh my god!
Like, no, you're not. And then guess what? We're gonna have the same post show up on my feed in 6 weeks.
Okay.
And sure enough, 2 or 3 months later, the same post, guys.
That other change.
Yeah.
That other change didn't work.
Things were going pretty well there for a minute, and some bad stuff's happened, and I've let people bring me down, and I know that I'm worth it. I'm more worth it than that. You know, it's like, if you're gonna change, just freaking do it. Just fucking change. Just change. It's not that hard. God, you look worse when you have to repost the same shit.
Quit failing publicly.
Yes. Quit admitting your failure over and over and over. Stop. You were doing it more frequently than on a quarterly basis. Stop it. Stop.
That does remind me of one that I didn't write down. The person who habitually leaves Facebook indefinitely.
Hey, but we always appreciate that they let us know that that's coming.
Right. If you need to contact me, you know how.
Yeah,
and then 6 months later, I'm leaving Facebook.
Hey, nails on a chalkboard. If you're going to leave, just fucking leave. If I'm going to leave Facebook, I didn't have to announce it. I just left. Just leave.
But they leave over and over again.
Yeah, it's like they got to let you know. I don't get that.
That's what I call the addicted, the truly addicted to Facebook people. They will post, I'm leaving Facebook. You know how to get in touch with me. And then 2 months later, they're back.
Yeah, because nobody was getting in touch with me. I mean.
Was life a little lonely out there?
Yeah, were you bored?
Was the house rather quiet?
Mary Beth.
I've snorted twice in this episode.
You're welcome.
I've snorted twice.
Mary Beth, I know my worth. And you know what I want to do? I want to reply and go, do you though?
Okay.
I mean, do you though?
Do you? No.
I mean, really?
Here's how we know. Because I'm going to take that and I'm going to go a little bit more specific gender-wise because I see a lot of those posts from very broken women. Mm-hmm. I used to tell my students about something called stupid girl disease. I could do a whole episode on it. But the post where you see them talking, or they'll repost a meme or something that talks about how much you're worth and you're better off and that person will blah, 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 blah. Those are like you're basically announcing to the world, in 3 weeks, I'll be dating another asshole.
Don't get me started.
Like
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We should, we do feel sympathy.
That's right. Now, I'm not going to ask you what I normally ask you. I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
She knew exactly what I was going to ask her. The always down on their luck poster.
Oh.
This is the poster that perpetually.
I just thought of Eeyore. The Facebook Eeyore. Everyone has one.
Perpetually makes horrible life decisions. Always hangs around the wrong people. And then doesn't quite understand what's gone wrong.
Right.
And then...
Why can't I get it together?
Yeah, and they're struggling to find good work. And then when they do find good work, they blow a tire out on the way to work. Like, they're the only people that ever tires blow on the side of the road. Like, I've never had a tire blow in my life. Right. But these people always have something that's happened. Like, anything ever just go right? My tire blew on the way to work.
I can't catch a break.
And I can't catch a break. And I just got this job 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's the always down on your luck poster. Okay, this is one of my least favorites. The seductive selfie. And then acting surprised. after you start getting compliments in your replies.
I know those are the best.
Why would you take a selfie that way? Like model agencies are just out there waiting for you to post.
And got it all filtered up.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly took 20 minutes to take that pose.
Right.
And then somebody replies back and goes, "Oh my God, you look amazing." And you're like, "Whoa,
Gorgeous. Wow, thank you.
whoa! I can't even believe this.
Oh my God.
Why are you even saying that? Thank you.
I just got out of bed.
I couldn't believe you just said that. You were so sweet."
Aw.
Okay, you're asking for that. You are asking for that. I don't understand that.
I don't either. Oh,
Okay.
I hate a selfie.
I think you'll like this one. People who literally just post how angry or sad they are. Have you seen that? So there's two ways they do it.
Okay.
They'll do the feeling angry, feeling sad.
Okay.
Okay. The
I
emotion,
don't see a lot of
the emotion
those.
tag, or they'll just be like, "I'm so pissed off right now. This is blah blah blah." Like my first reaction is always, "Why is Facebook the first thing you go to?" Like, why is it a requirement to post that emotion to Facebook that you're angry or sad? Like, if I'm genuinely angry or pissed off at something, or if I'm sad, that would be the last thing I would think
place.
of. I would not think, well, I got to, again, we mentioned this earlier, got to pick up my phone.
Right.
Let me get on the app real quick. Then I got to take the time to, like, why would you do that?
Because you're emotionally underdeveloped and you lack a support. Oh, you weren't looking for a real answer because they're dumb. No, I'm just kidding.
I really wasn't.
I'm just kidding.
Mary Beth, I've even seen posters that, I don't know if you've seen it, they have posted a picture of them crying. Like a still picture of them crying. And then they have like words in the post.
Dude.
Why would someone do that to themselves?
Ask my daughter. She does them. It's very common amongst the young ones. Yeah, it's a
Lord.
thing.
Oh, my Lord.
Huh?
Oh, my Lord.
Or my Lord. It is. And I've asked her about it. I'm like,
risen.
I've asked her. But I don't ask anymore. I don't want to.
But you get where I'm going. It's like,
Yeah,
and
those
this
are
is-
awful.
And I'm not just saying this about Mallory. I'm just saying, like, you took the time to pick. No, listen. You took the time to pick up your phone, put the phone in front of your face, get the tears,
Get the tears.
get the angle just right. Hey, click it.
Yeah.
Take the pic, then get back on your phone and go. Okay, now I got to post this.
Right.
Like, to me, it's just a younger generation doing that. I get an older, like our generation. I do not get that.
I do not get that either.
That's a severe case of emotional immaturity.
Yes.
Severe. Okay, we're on a roll. I just got a couple more.
Roll them.
The poster who changes jobs every 3 months.
And swears it's their dream job.
Oh, you didn't let me finish! And every single time they post about the new job, they call it their dream job. What the hell is that?
I
What
knew
the?
it.
Hey, you might as well have a sign on your forehead that reads, "I'm a bad employee with no work ethic." Hey, everybody, I'm a bad employee with no work ethic. Like, you might as well just put that shit on your forehead. What in the hell is that? What is that?
Hey, all you revolving door businesses, hire me.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just make it impossible, nearly impossible for you to ever get a really good job down the road? Good grief.
But they try to make it seem like it was their decision. It's like, no, you got fired, and we all know you got fired.
Yeah,
Come
I already
on.
heard that at the car dealership. Somebody already told me. Like, and they're always like they're never like the same types of jobs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not even like consistent, like in the same industry
Right.
or the field. It's like you're over here selling cars, and you're over here working at an eye doctor. You're over here working at Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just never similar.
There's no common thread, but it's your dream
It's
job.
your dream job.
Each one.
Been thinking of it forever. Don't understand it.
And remember, it was my decision.
It's right. I've already said that one. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh my gosh, I feel like there are so many more to be.
There absolutely are. There absolutely are.
I'm surprised. I'm disappointed at how short our lists were.
Yeah. I could probably sit here and think of some more, but those are the main ones. Those are the main ones that really just tick me off.
And just grind my gears.
Yeah, I'm like, should I message this person? And just put why and nothing else.
Why?
Why? Why? Hey, why are you like this? Oh, but hey, how you doing? How's it been going?
You know, we didn't talk about this. We were talking about people and their posts, but we didn't spend much time on people who enjoy just hopping onto somebody's post to be a downer or to disagree, or it's like if you're angry, like scroll on by. We've lost the ability to just scroll on by.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have to read it. Like this is my profile. You don't have to be on it. I don't understand those people.
I don't either.
I don't understand that much time. because there are repeat offenders.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, how? I see you commenting everywhere on everything. Where do you get the time to do this?
Was that necessary?
Are you getting paid?
Yeah, was that necessary?
Oh, good times. Hey,
Well, this was fun.
this was fun. We've wanted to make fun of Facebook for so long.
I feel so much better.
Oh, I do too. A weight has been lifted.
It's all out there now. It's all out there now.
So basically, this has been like one toxic post.
Oh, yeah.
And now you all can deal with it.
Yeah. Do it what you want.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening.
I had fun, Mary Beth.
I had fun.
I look
Jojo.
forward to the next one.
Same.
See you, everybody.
Bye.